December 7, 1941, dawned like any other Sunday for Japanese Americans across the United States. Families went about their routines, children played, and communities bustled with life. But the tranquility of that morning was shattered by news that would forever alter the course of their lives: the attack on Pearl Harbor. As the smoke cleared over the Hawaiian island, a wave of fear and suspicion washed over the mainland, directed at Japanese Americans, many of whom had lived in the United States for generations. The attack on Pearl Harbor, while geographically distant, struck a deep chord of fear within the nation. This fear, fueled by wartime anxieties and racial prejudice, quickly morphed into suspicion towards Japanese Americans. They were seen as the enemy within, their loyalty questioned simply because of their ancestry. Newspapers ran inflammatory headlines, politicians fanned the flames of distrust, and a climate of fear and prejudice permeated the nation. For Japanese American families, the attack on Pearl Harbor brought a chilling sense of foreboding. The very ground they stood on, the nation they called home, suddenly felt different. Their patriotism was questioned, their loyalty doubted, their American identity stripped away. The attack on Pearl Harbor had not just brought war to American shores, it had ignited a war against its own citizens. In the wake of the Pearl Harbor attack, fear and prejudice took root in the hearts of many Americans. Fueled by wartime anxieties, this fear soon manifested in a dark chapter of American history: the forced removal and internment of Japanese Americans. On February 19, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, authorizing the military to establish zones from which any or all persons may be excluded. This seemingly innocuous order had a devastating impact on Japanese Americans. The order gave the military broad powers to define these zones and remove anyone deemed a threat to national security. Though the order did not explicitly target Japanese Americans, its implementation left no room for doubt. The zones established under Executive Order 9066 encompassed large swaths of the West Coast, home to a significant population of Japanese Americans. They were deemed a threat, not based on individual actions or evidence, but solely because of their ancestry. The implementation of Executive Order 9066 was swift and brutal. Families were given mere days, sometimes hours, to dispose of their belongings and prepare for an unknown future. They were forced to sell their homes, businesses, and possessions, often for a fraction of their worth. The lives they had built, the dreams they had nurtured, were shattered overnight, leaving behind a profound sense of loss and displacement. The journey to the internment camps was arduous and humiliating. Families carrying what little they could salvage of their lives were herded onto trains and buses, their every move scrutinized by armed guards. The destinations were desolate and unforgiving landscapes, far removed from the lives they had known. 10 internment camps were established across the western United States, each a stark testament to the government's misguided policies and the prejudice that fueled them. Life in the camps was harsh and restrictive. Families were housed in cramped, tar-papered barracks offering little privacy or comfort. The camps were surrounded by barbed wire fences patrolled by armed guards, and the threat of punishment loomed large for even minor infractions. The internees, stripped of their freedom and dignity, faced a daily struggle to maintain their humanity in the face of adversity. Despite the harsh conditions, the internees strove to create a semblance of normalcy. Schools were established, gardens were planted, and cultural activities were organized. Yet, the ever-present reality of their confinement cast a long shadow over their lives. The camps stood as a constant reminder of their unjust imprisonment, a physical manifestation of the prejudice that had torn them from their homes. Before being herded onto trains and buses, Japanese Americans were given a limited time to dispose of their belongings. The government, in its haste to implement Executive Order 9066, provided little to no support in this process. Families were left to navigate the logistical nightmare of selling their homes, businesses, and possessions, often at a significant financial loss. The auction block became a symbol of their dispossession, a public display of their uprooting. The auctions were chaotic and heartbreaking affairs. Families desperate to salvage what little they could were forced to accept paltry sums for items that held sentimental and financial value. Homes filled with memories, businesses built through years of hard work, and possessions that held personal significance were sold to the highest bidder, the proceeds a mere pittance compared to their true worth. The auction block stood as a stark reminder of the economic devastation inflicted upon Japanese Americans, a testament to the government's disregard for their well-being. The echoes of the auctions reverberated long after the gavel fell. The financial losses suffered by Japanese Americans had a lasting impact, making it challenging to rebuild their lives after the war. The auctions served as a painful reminder of the government's role in their dispossession, a testament to the economic injustice that underpinned their internment. A seed of resistance, defiance in the dust. Within the confines of the camps, amidst the barbed wire and watchful eyes, a spirit of resistance began to take root. The internees, stripped of their freedom and subjected to unjust imprisonment, refused to be silenced. Acts of resistance, both large and small, became a testament to their resilience, their unwavering belief in justice, and their refusal to be defined by their circumstances. One of the most significant acts of resistance came in the form of newspapers published within the camps. These newspapers, often run by internees themselves, provided a platform for sharing news, expressing dissent, and fostering a sense of community. They challenged the government's narrative, reported on the harsh realities of camp life, and gave voice to the internees' struggles and aspirations. The act of resistance extended beyond the printed word. Internees organized protests, hunger strikes, and demonstrations, demanding their civil rights and challenging the constitutionality of their internment. They filed lawsuits, wrote letters to government officials, and sought to raise awareness of their plight among the American public. These acts of defiance, though met with resistance and often punished, served as a powerful reminder that the spirit of the internees could not be broken. Seeds of resilience, finding hope in barren land. In the face of adversity, the internees displayed remarkable resilience, finding ways to maintain their dignity, preserve their culture, and create a sense of community within the confines of the camps. They transformed the barren landscapes into spaces of learning, creativity, and cultural expression, planting gardens, organizing schools, and establishing art studios. Education became a beacon of hope for many internees, offering a sense of normalcy and a path towards a brighter future. Teachers, many of whom were internees themselves, volunteered their time and skills to provide education to children and adults alike. Schools, often housed in makeshift classrooms, offered a curriculum that encompassed both traditional subjects and Japanese language and culture, ensuring the transmission of their heritage to future generations. The arts played a vital role in sustaining the spirits of the internees. Art became a form of therapy, a way to process trauma, express emotions, and find solace in creativity. Painters captured the beauty of the desert landscapes, musicians formed orchestras and bands, and performers staged plays and dances, transforming the camps into spaces of artistic expression and cultural resilience. Gates swing open, a bittersweet freedom. As World War II drew to a close, so too did the era of Japanese-American internment. On January 2, 1945, the exclusion orders were finally rescinded, and the gates of the camps slowly began to swing open. For the internees, this long-awaited freedom was a bittersweet victory, marked by both joy and trepidation as they faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. The return to mainstream society was fraught with challenges. The internees emerged from the camps to find their homes and businesses gone, their savings depleted, and their communities forever altered. Many faced discrimination, prejudice, and the lingering stigma of their unjust imprisonment. The psychological scars of internment ran deep, leaving an enduring legacy of trauma and loss. Despite the challenges, the Japanese-American community displayed remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. They rebuilt their lives piece by piece, drawing strength from their cultural heritage, their unwavering spirit, and their commitment to justice. They established businesses, pursued education, and became active in their communities, proving that their spirit could not be broken. Scars on the soul, the enduring legacy of internment. The internment of Japanese Americans during World War II left an indelible mark on American history, a stark reminder of the dangers of prejudice, fear-mongering, and the erosion of civil liberties. The legacy of this dark chapter continues to resonate today, serving as a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance in safeguarding the rights of all citizens. The internment experience had a profound impact on the lives of those who endured it. Many suffered lasting psychological trauma, struggling with feelings of shame, anger, and displacement. The loss of property, businesses, and community connections, had a devastating economic impact, hindering their ability to rebuild their lives after the war. The internment experience left an intergenerational trauma, impacting families for generations to come. The internment of Japanese Americans serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of civil liberties and the importance of upholding the Constitution, even in times of crisis. It highlights the dangers of racial profiling, scapegoating, and the erosion of due process, reminding us that the rights of one group are inextricably linked to the rights of all. A Nation's Reckoning: The Long Road to Justice. For decades after the war, the internment of Japanese Americans remained a dark stain on the conscience of America. It wasn't until the 1970s and 1980s that a movement for redress gained momentum, demanding that the government acknowledge the injustice of its actions and provide reparations to the survivors. In 1980, President Jimmy Carter established the Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Civilians, or CWRX, to investigate the internment. After years of research and testimony from survivors, the CWRIC issued its report in 1983, concluding that the internment was a grave injustice motivated by racial prejudice, wartime hysteria, and a failure of political leadership. The report recommended that the government issue a formal apology and provide reparations to the survivors. In 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed the Civil Liberties Act, which formally apologized for the internment and provided $20,000 in reparations to each surviving internee. While the act marked a significant step towards justice, it could not erase the pain and suffering endured by Japanese Americans. The fight for redress continues today, with ongoing efforts to educate the public about the internment and ensure that such a travesty never happens again. Please like and share this video and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content.